So there are definitely going to be impacts on wildlife here, and we just want Oaks Park to think again about the impacts that they're having on their neighbors and come up with a better lighting design scheme.
Also tonight, we are hearing from people opposing a new ride at Oaks Park. They say the 135-foot tall tower drop would impact the local bird population.
They filed an appeal to try and stop the ride from being built. K2's Shelby Slaughter joins us live tonight from Oaks Park. So Shelby, what are you hearing from people?
Well, Deb, you can really hear the wildlife in this area, especially as it is a quiet day here at the park. And many people worried that the mechanics of this new ride will draw that away. This is the ride that could soon be at Oaks Park, a 135-foot drop tower. That, according to wildlife officials, comes with big and bright lights.
I think this area is so nice because we're in the middle of the metropolitan area and it feels natural. And so I think that would be a bit of an eyesore, and some beautiful birds come through here, and I think anything to hinder that would be unfortunate.
Nick Levin says he doesn't want to see yet another ride come into this area full of beautiful nature, disrupting the sounds of birds you hear all day long. The Bird Alliance of Oregon also opposes this project, filing an appeal with the city of Portland in hopes of stopping the ride and its spotlights from being built, saying, quote, "This is a dangerous precedent for lighting design in Portland and poses a threat to migrating bird airspace, as well as to the 200+ species of birds that have been recorded in Oaks Bottom Wildlife Area, 44 of which are special status species." A consulting biologist for the park disputes this point, saying in a memo sent to K2, quote, "My analysis of factors specific to the proposed lights in the middle of Oaks Amusement Park indicate that these specific lights in this specific location are extremely unlikely to affect migrating birds, unlikely enough to be considered discountable." And a decision on that appeal is due beginning of July. Reporting live from Oaks Park, I'm Shelby Slaughter, K2 News.
Shelby, thank you. We can tell you the last time Oaks Park debuted a new ride was April of 2021. At the time, the Atmosphere was teased as Oregon's most extreme thrill ride to date. And of course, we know now that thrill turned very real for dozens of riders last summer. The ride malfunctioned and stranded them upside down 50 feet above the ground for an agonizing 30 minutes. The incident gained national attention, prompting multiple lawsuits. In fact, according to our news partners at Willamette Week, 3 more guardians whose teens were on that ride sued the park last week for nearly $2 million. They say those teens are still feeling the impacts today. A spokesperson did not comment. Now, the ride has since reopened, no longer goes fully upside down. Before the incident, the ride had operated without any issues.
Oaks Park is one of the oldest operating amusement parks in the country, and in its 120-year history has had relatively few issues. Before the Atmosphere fiasco, the park temporarily closed its now discontinued ride, the Screamin' Eagle. This was in abundance of caution following a deadly incident involving a similar ride in Ohio. Atmosphere replaced it. Other than that, the park tells K2 their most notable incidents have been natural disasters. They've survived 3 major floods, including the deadly Vanport flood in 1948. Following that flood, the park says engineers installed a new floating roller skating rink, which protected it during 2 more floods in the 60s and 90s. Regarding rider incidents, they say they have one of the best safety records in the industry.
As for the history of the park, you just heard Deb mention the roller rink. The park says it's the oldest in the country, also the last roller rink in the world to feature a live pipe organist. The park's carousel is listed on the National Register of Historic Places. The Oaks Park Scrambler is the oldest still owned by its original purchaser. Some concession stands have been standing since 1905, and the historic dance pavilion is the original 1905 structure, though it's undergone a major restoration. Oaks Park is celebrating its 120th birthday this weekend. Tomorrow, in fact, marks 120 years since gates opened. Find details on KATU.com.
We want to hear from you tonight. Point your phone camera at the QR code on your screen. Tell us, how do you feel about a new thrill ride possibly coming to Oaks Park? Do you love it? More fun for me? Do Do you hate it? Too many negative, or are you indifferent? I don't visit Oaks Park. You can vote now.